Welcome to Farming Matters, the storytelling series where you get to hear directly from innovative farmers and ranchers. They share about their SARE grant. Today we'll hear from Weston and Molly Jo about their community farming project. I'm Liz Brownlee, I'm your host today, and I'm joined by Marie Flanagan.
Hello, everyone.
Marie's our director and producer, and we both work for SARE. SARE is an acronym for Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education, and we're this tiny little part of the USDA that focuses on innovative, sustainable practices. And our mission is to advance sustainable agriculture to the whole of American agriculture. So, without further ado, I think we should probably hear from Weston and Molly Jo.
Thanks for having us today. I'm Weston Lombard. I'm the co-founder of Solid Ground Farm and Rising Appalachia. We operate a diversified agroforestry farm and education center in Southeast Ohio. So like zone 6, hilly country. And yeah, we're excited to talk about some of our projects, mostly this participatory, community-driven farming program that we started last year. And with me is Molly Jo Stanley.
Hi, my name is Molly Jo, and I am another co-founder of Rising Appalachia and a co-steward of Solid Ground Farm.
So yeah, we started around 2007 by planting a few apple trees. We like to say it's Ohio's largest forest garden. I haven't fact-checked that to see if it's true, but incredibly diverse tree plantings. And we also run a summer camp and a bunch of seasonal programs focused on outdoor exploration, sustainable agriculture, and just sort of engagement with nature. So we also share our farm with a nonprofit elementary school. They run a 50 student program from the farm. So there's youth out here year round helping us enjoy the fruit and nuts and just engaging with the farm. So it makes it a really meaningful experience for us.
Weston and I met in 2010 at the Ohio Paw Festival, which is this, native fruit centric celebration that centers community and economy and ecological stewardship. And both of us were practicing environmental education as well as learning more about ecological design principles at the time. And we really wanted to fuse that together. And that's where Rising Appalachian Summer Camp started, was out of that. And living in this region in Southeast Ohio in the Appalachian region with a lot of former coal mining and a recently regenerating forest, a lot of the environmental degradation and a lot of the economic loss are coupled together. So we've really been passionate about centering the regeneration of our ecosystems in creating a thriving, abundant community that also is economically viable.
So we started this process by recruiting 10 families from the neighborhood and participants in our summer camp and school programs. And we worked together with them to come up with a plan about what we wanted to grow and how we wanted to grow it. And then we actually worked through the whole process as a group, meeting once a week. So every Sunday we gathered for about 4 hours and we designed the layout of the garden. We built fences. We, broad forked everything and spread compost. And then we worked together to start seeds and spent the summer maintaining and replanting, harvesting, processing, and just generally sharing meals together. Most sessions, once the garden was really moving, would end with a potluck where people would bring some things and we'd process food from the garden. One aspect that made it really successful was we offered sort of childcare or just youth engagement opportunities like during the program, so families could bring their kids. They'd spend some time with us working in the garden, and then we also had a youth educator who would take them to explore the farm and the forest and and just sort of run around and enjoy themselves. So the program really gave parents an opportunity to focus on some work, connecting with other adults, and just gave everyone an exciting opportunity to engage with the land while we were here.
Yeah, that was, I think, really the most impressive result of the project, was just the community having the opportunity to come together and create something pretty spectacular, as in a very short period of time. And this opportunity for community engagement, a sense of belonging, a sense of shared stewardship, is probably one of the biggest components that we're trying to continue adopting and expanding. So in all of the things that we do on Solid Ground Farm, all the components of Rising Appalachia, whether we're tending gardens, growing food, and even tending the greater forest ecosystem and watershed around us, the opportunity to reduce and eliminate those barriers to participation and bring our whole community together to be a part of that is really what we're looking to do.
Yeah, we found that by making programs accessible, especially providing opportunities for people to bring their kids, providing the tools, the expertise, and the space, we're able to offer people a chance to plug in ways they couldn't otherwise participate in. We found that often something like a community garden plot can fail just because people don't have the consistent available time to see a garden through for the entire year. And so by having it here at the farm and having dedicated staff who can sort of pick up the slack when participants aren't here ensures the long-term success of the project. Also, just people really enjoy this type of work and don't have the opportunity to do it necessarily. So providing, drop-in opportunities to learn to prune fruit trees or help plant new orchards has been rewarding and successful. We're trying to take this now and expand the concept of community participation into the tending of our forest. So we're doing things like harvesting wood for building materials, increasing mass production by burns and timber stand improvement projects, and I don't know.
We're really excited about acorns and hickory nuts and these, indigenous plants that have fed the people who lived on this land since time immemorial. And as we're seeing the regeneration of our forests here in Southeast Ohio, and we have historically experienced a lack of economic opportunity in relationship to the boom and bust cycle of coal and other extractive industries, we really are trying to see how we can create long-term stability economically that's rooted in tending our ecosystems well. So we believe if we're tending for the long-term health of our oak trees and our hickory trees, and we're learning how to process acorns and make acorn flour and hickory nut oil, and using our forests really wisely, then we're not only providing more food for our neighbors and our community and providing ecosystem services to our watersheds and our soils that are healing, but we're also providing an economic model, a sort of workforce development model that allows people in this region who don't necessarily have access to great jobs here locally, the opportunity to tend the land that they live on, that we share together, for that long-term sustainability. So we're hoping to see more collaboration with our neighbors, integrate more of the young people that are growing up here and maybe don't have that connection to the land that their grandparents did. And by getting everybody involved with the pieces that they're interested in, and the things that they want to learn about or that they want to share, then we have not only this intergenerational learning, but we have hopefully a model for something that can be replicated across our region for people who really need these economic opportunities and have access to food, but might not know how to turn, acorns into food. So it's pretty exciting. It's a lot of work. And as Weston was mentioning before, really we saw a lot of success by being able to have parents come with their children, by being able to invite everybody from the neighborhood and having the capacity to take care of the land, even when the participants aren't necessarily available to be fully engaged. So of course that requires a lot of work on a host site part, a lot of overhead and investment, but in the long run, we really see this as being a viable and hopefully replicable solution for a lot of the challenges that farms and landowners and Appalachian communities face.
Yeah, we put together a guide that's part of our SARE final report that has some ideas for ways to add an engagement component to any farm. We feel like there's lots of opportunity beyond just selling produce to customers to really involving them in the farming itself. People seem eager for that, want to reconnect, and just figuring out sort of what the barriers are in your area. It might be different everywhere, but generally we found that, yeah, people will come if it's convenient and satisfies multiple needs of theirs. As educators, the organizing and educational component sort of comes naturally to us. It might not be a good fit for all farms. So you might find a better opportunity in partnering with an educational organization to bring people to the farm. But if you enjoy teaching like we do, we suggest trying your hand at a small workshop and seeing how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing about your SARE project and the community farming project. It's impressive. You made this beautiful guide for others who might want to replicate your community farm project, and it has a budget, which I love because I think we always need to layer, not just environmental sustainability, not just social, not just economic. It's got to be all three. So it looks like, you guys invested about $15,000 of combined labor and expenses. And so year one, it was roughly break even because you were charging families basically a weekly fee to participate, just like any CSA. Am I getting that right?
So the first year there was no participation fee.
Okay.
And that model, that business model that we created, essentially, instead of having that grant funded project that would pay for the childcare, the model was this would be the baseline, what people would pay that would cover those expenses. So it was, the hope was, if you could figure out, a sliding scale or different levels of financial participation, financial contribution that would take the place of a grant funded program.
Yeah, which is much more replicable. Not everybody gets the grant, but if you can have a program that can fuel itself, that's really exciting. And to see how, in year one, it was roughly break even, but by year two, once you had some of the infrastructure in place and the tools and such, it could be a part of a farm's, income stream to host a community farm like this.
Yeah, and we've been doing a bunch of different workshops and engagement programs. So the budgets are based on past experience and projections. And of course, it's, going to be different in each region. Like, if you're closer to a big city, it's a lot easier to charge more for programs.
Sure.
Whereas in rural communities, it can be hard. And we've also been fortunate in that, so our farm partners with a nonprofit, and so we're able to get federal grants and public grants as well to contribute to some of our programming.
Obviously, you guys have a lot going on in terms of projects and initiatives and programming. How do you identify which piece of that is a good fit for a SARE grant?
So SARE is an amazing program. I think it's been a really good fit for projects that, man, I don't even know how to say it, that are more experimental. And with a lot of the other grants we go for, they want to know that it's going to succeed. I think in to say it some way, where the SARE seems more like, let's see if this does work. And so the argument's a little bit different. And so it's worked for some of the like novel stuff at the beginning stages of development. And that's actually helped us. Doing that initial work with SARE has then helped us prove the concept and then go after bigger funding later on.
We were so lucky to get to learn from you guys today and to hear about the community farm model. I'm excited for others to learn from your progress. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.